Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for PP Awards. I am your host with the most, Ricky. With me, as always, is Ben. Tonight, co-presenters, we have Jayme and Alex. So, with that, are you guys ready for an award show?
I'm as ready as I ever can be.
Let's give a round of applause.
It's like, oh yes, didn't sound ready enough. So again, are you guys ready for an award show?
Yeah!
I'm super pumped.
Let's go. I didn't know if I needed to be proper or if I was to get excited. You fixed that for me. Thank you.
Seriously, you're definitely hyped, because that's the kind of stuff we do here at the Social Sports Pet Podcast. This is it's a special episode tonight. We're definitely celebrating our first Twitch live cast Tuesday. We are going to be doing those every Tuesday at 7 Eastern Standard Time. We will be open at 6:30 to do some Q&A where you can come in and ask myself, Ben, Cobra, and Tyler, ask us questions about the podcast, what we think of different things in football, or even about us, just to allow us to get to know our fans. You guys are with the live cast, we won't have as many guests, so we're changing the format of our secondary podcast show, where it's going to be more guest host based. You probably won't hear a lot of Cobra. You may even not have me or Ben at some point with these. Tyler, won't be here as well, but to make sure that we have more room for wonderful friends like Alex and Jayme and any of the other ones that we've had over the course of the past, almost 2 years now with the Social Sports Pet Podcast. So, how have you guys been this week, Alex and Jayme?
Doing good.
All right, that's good.
Doing very well. And I just want to say thank you to anyone who is listening that actually tuned in on Tuesday for the inaugural Twitch podcast.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it was absolutely fun. It was very, we had a whole bunch of people in, especially like in the beginning when we were taking care of like technical work, because Twitch, right now they have that stream together, part where you can collaborate with other streamers, and it was our first time using that, and we definitely learned a lot, not only about the podcast, we also learned a lot about doing Twitch streaming, because ultimately our goal is to not have day jobs, and basically be doing this full-time content creator stuff. I definitely know that to be able to be more entertaining and do more for you, the listeners. What about you, Ben? Is that your goal as well, or you just
That's been my goal for a while now, since I started the social sport or social the social brand, I would say, because I have the gaming brand and we have the sports podcast now brand as well. So that's been my goal since I created the brand. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely nice that we've been able to get things off the ground and moving into that next step. And definitely, it is not, it's not us alone. We definitely would not have been able to get here without the help of, like people like Tyler and Cobra, who are there pretty much every time now. And then Alex and Jayme and like other guys that we had, like Tim and Kevin and just everybody. We cannot do this without you, and we appreciate you greatly. On that note, before we get into the wonderful awards for the 6 categories that we have. We will also, by the end of the season, have a lot more categories. So it'll be, purely an award show next time. This time around, because with the inaugural podcast, what we did usually on Saturdays was we would do our bold prediction show, brought to you by the wonderful people in Bulletproof Coffee. So because Jayme and Alex haven't given their predictions yet, we're going to kind of give them the floor. We'll go, I think we determined Alex first and Jayme. And basically what they are going to do is they're not going to rattle off like every game, this week. They're going to give us 5 games where they definitely think the potential for an upset is there, or games that Vegas kind of thinks a little bit too close and they way they're going to be. And then they're going to give us a bold prediction brought to you by Bulletproof Coffee before we go into the award show. So, Alex, go ahead and take it away. Give me 5.
First game up, I got Bills, the favorite by 7 points against the Jets at home. Josh Allen's been struggling to throw the ball recently. The offense seems to struggle to produce. And the Jets have been kind of getting better. They've improved a lot recently as Zach Wilson getting his ground running. And I think they're overlooking the Jets a little bit. So I think the Jets are looking beyond upset over the Bills to win on the road in a struggling Buffalo team, but a loud stadium. Highmark could be a struggle with Zach Wilson, but I think the Jets can get it done on the road. And if Josh Allen struggles even more, then they could be 5-6 and looking to be on the couch with the playoffs. Absolutely.
A good one there. The Bills have been struggling. Josh Allen has not been producing W's anyway. Some very bad luck going on with Buffalo, almost like they're cursed by a certain video game cover. But the Jets also might be doing it without Garrett Wilson this week. So definitely good one there.
I'm glad you reminded me there.
Okay, you're welcome. Your game number 2.
The Denver Broncos are going at home -3 against a very powerful Vikings offense with Josh Dobbs ripping and shredding through defenses the past 2 weeks, coming off of a trade deadline that he didn't know anybody. He had to do Candace calls on the sideline at the center to get comfortable. Denver has looked better. They upset Buffalo on a fluked and disrespectful 12-man call on the Bills, and knowing how to play special teams properly. And they won on prime time with Russell Wilson throwing the ball well. And if Josh Dobbs can get going, this could be a shootout that could end Denver possibly getting the upset. But I think if Russell Wilson can get going, this is a shootout and possibly game of the week for Sunday Night Football on primetime television that we never overlooked until right now, where both teams have mediocre, struggling quarterbacks with offenses that are getting going, with defenses that seem to be struggling in the red zone and stopping big plays in big territories. And if Denver plays well, they can easily get the upset, even though they are favored. But I think it's going to be a shootout, and Denver might come on top if Russell Wilson can play well.
I mean, yeah, definitely could. The Minnesota offense right now is just firing way better than anybody expects with the injuries they had. Jordan Addison, he's filled in as a wide receiver 1 admirably in the absence of Justin Jefferson. Josh Dobbs literally coming off of the bus, getting thrust into that game against Atlanta, and causing the, I was going to say upset, but no, getting that comeback and then, just wrecking things last week. So you definitely see that disrespect given to them by being the dogs against Denver. Yeah, I mean, and kudos to Denver for turning things around. This is not the team that Miami put 70 up on. Number 3.
We got an NFC West battle going to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, with the Rams being favored by 2 against the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams seem to have not been doing well on offense. They've been struggling the past couple weeks to put big points on the board. They lost a very kind of one-sided affair against Green Bay last week. The defense has been struggling a lot recently. Geno Smith has been playing pretty well with DK Metcalf and Kenneth Walker on the Seahawks. And I think this game is being kind of masked over by how good the Rams offense is with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. And Miles Sanders actually playing well enough that I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to go into SoFi and shut them down on defense. They have had a dominant defense the past couple of weeks. If Geno Smith plays well, this band is going to be ripped off really fast, and it's not going to look good for LA. Knowing what's at stake in the West is trying to get to San Fran as San Fran continues to struggle to really put the nail in the coffin for the NFC West. And at the midseason mark, as we're closing the end of the season, where playoffs are inevitable and high, especially for these division games.
I mean, a couple things definitely to be of note. The Rams were on a bye last week, so basically, you're like they played the Packers last week. You're good, man. But yeah, the last time we did see the Rams, they basically were unable to get the ball moving with Brett Rippon as the quarterback. Matt Stafford, apparently seems on schedule to play and come back from injury. I think it was a thumb injury. Otherwise, we might see Carson Wentz, which, not gonna lie, is an upgrade a little bit over Brett Rippon. But the Rams definitely covered in injury on the offensive side has definitely been a struggle. And this is definitely a game that is being overlooked because the Seahawks have been very lousy the past few contests. I mean, they barely eked out a victory over the Commanders. And then, the week before, Baltimore just basically made them their bitch, clapped their cheeks, literally. So yeah, definitely a good idea there. Game.
Call me crazy about having Jacksonville 6.5-point favorites against Will Levis and the Titans offense. Will Levis has looked great so far as the rookie quarterback, which is weird, especially with Mayonnaise and coffee. And the Jaguars have struggled recently with Trevor Lawrence, not been able to get the ground running with the offense. They have really struggled to produce points, and they have looked very suspicious. And I think the Titans are being very underrated going into this game on the road in Jacksonville, being 6.5-point dogs. And I think that the Titans, that they have a good offense, that Will Levis balls out like he did, the past week or two, and Derrick Henry exposes the awfulness of that D line, then I see the Titans getting the upset on the road if Will Levis can actually throw the ball well and produce big numbers.
I mean, most definitely. I like this contest. I mean, it is around this time a few years ago in Duval. Henry got his crown. It was definitely the return of the king. That Thursday night game in Duval, where he rattled off that 99-yard touchdown that basically brought him back to the forefront. Will Levis, definitely he had that great game against Atlanta. He had some struggles against the Steelers, and he was just like last week. He's a rookie quarterback, so he's gonna get them bumps, just like everybody else. But hey, if Will Levis is able to kind of get more acclimated into that role. I definitely see some good things for the Titans. See bye-bye to Ryan Tannehill. And then finally, give me that number 5. All right. What you got?
The Chargers being 3-point favorites, entering one of the toughest games to play in Lambeau, facing Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. And like I mentioned before, the Packers did pretty well against the Rams when they played them, and they seemed to look good last week. And the Chargers have been up and down all year. Justin Herbert's been struggling to move the ball. Keenan Allen's been on and off the field with injuries. And the running game of Austin Eckler hasn't looked pretty good. Has not looked that good recently at all. And this is going to be a very tough game. It should be a big shootout in Lambeau. I think the Packers can get it done. They can do what they did against the Rams and solidify themselves as a dominant defensive team. I think this is game over for Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert in that backfield. So giving the Packers to upset at home, being 3-point dogs, and submitting themselves as not only a dominant defensive team, but hopefully a team that can actually show what the offense can do. Jordan Love not playing like we thought he was going to do when they drafted him and not giving Rodgers weapons back in 2019.
I mean, this is definitely a game I definitely really much so differ from you on. The Chargers are definitely, in my opinion, going to just crush Green Bay. The Packers offensively have just been offensive. Jordan Love has put points on the board and moves the ball down the field quite a bit. A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones have just not done any justice for the Packers. It's definitely a slow roll, and the Chargers on offense are just too good right now. Eckler has had 3 consistent games in a row where he's definitely he's definitely hit 18 points. So I definitely see another big game from Eckler. But yeah, very nice very nice list. Now we go to Jayme with his list of 5. So give me your upset or whatever you got. What is your game to watch, Jayme?
Well, first off, the energy is kind of down right now. This is supposed to be bold predictions and upsets, right? So we're going to kick it off, right?
Let's go.
So the Bad News Bears are going to come into Detroit and make them wish that they were watching a Pistons game instead of the Lions. Justin Fields is going to show why he is the better quarterback, and he is going to take over the game with 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns.
That's nice and bold. I mean, yeah, Justin Fields is back, but hey, the Lions have been nigh unstoppable lately. The only game that they've really had any sort of like struggle this year was against the Baltimore Ravens, and it just looks like the Baltimore Ravens just take and eat the NFC for breakfast.
Oh, they really have. They really have, and I think Sam Laporta is going to eat today. Is going to eat in that game as well. But Justin Fields is going to be the star of the show.
Okay, definitely hope so. The Bears definitely are, needing some offensive firepower. I mean, Bajent, he played admirably, but it's definitely a different kind of offense with Fields on the field. Number 2.
Number 2 is the New York Giants are plus 10.5 to Washington. It's the Washington way. They get games that they should always win, and for whatever reason they don't. But in this case, they will win. It's just not going to be in 10.5. They're only going to win by 3. DeVito's going to look like a breakout candidate because Jack Del Rio just needs to get fired. But DeVito's for DeVito, breakout is only 2 touchdowns. He's going to get 2 touchdowns, but then Barkley is going to account for one of those touchdowns and get a rushing touchdown. So I see them losing 21-24 to Washington.
Okay. Very nice. I mean, I definitely I see what you're saying about with the Commanders, because that Commanders defense has not been anything spectacular.
Not trash. Trash.
And as much as there's some people like, yeah, Sam Howell's an excellent quarterback. Sam Howell's played a lot of games behind or in shootouts. So he's definitely gotten stats. He's a stat stuffer, not a winner, it seems like right now. And in this league, you definitely want somebody that's both. The Giants, though, that offense is even more offensive than Green Bay. Seriously, that offense is so suspect. It's on the FBI watch list right now. You would definitely think with Brian Daboll coming off of being Coach of the Year that there'd be something going on in that offense, but no Darren Waller, no Daniel Jones. Basically
No Geno.
Saquon is
Or-
huh?
No Tyrod.
Yeah, no Tyrod. Basically it's like
He's always had bad luck.
there's no spice, no life, no flavor, no pop pop pop. Seriously, nothing going
It's a
on
New Jersey
in the
team.
in the Giants. It is to reference the Fifth Element, it is Corbin Dallas on the microphones. In that offense. All right, what's your next game?
Number 3, we have the Dallas Cowboys teams, the Black Cats. They're not even good enough to be Panthers at this point. They're just little Black Cats. And it's going to be another Dak Prescott show, but this time they're going to make it a focal point where Tony Pollard, he's going to go for 102 tutties.
Now that's bold, because definitely Tony Pollard is definitely somebody that I had as an honorable mention for our award for disappointment of the season. Right now, he has definitely not been. They gave him the reins, but he has not taken those reins as the lead back in Dallas.
For sure. And they even made it a point last week, even though the offense completely exploded, McCarthy and Dak both came off saying that we need to get Pollard in the mix. They're trying to fine-tune their team for postseason, and this would be the perfect game to do so because Carolina's rushing defense is hot doo-doo.
Yep, hot doo-doo indeed.
Number 4, we have Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals upsetting the Texans. Kyler Murray, the whole world is talking about C.J. Stroud, and rightfully so. He is a great young talent who is peaking at the right time. But Kyler Murray is going to show him that he was one of the ones that revamped the whole mobile quarterback era, and he's going to teach C.J. Stroud how to close out games.
Okay. All right. Nice. The only thing I will say about that is either way, come up short.
Yeah.
Nothing. But so yes. And then number 5, go ahead.
And number 5, this was an easy layup because, baby, now we got some bad blood brewing in Kansas City. And i.e. Taylor Swift reference, can't do that without the Kansas City Chiefs, it seems like nowadays. But
We got bad blood.
But speaking of bad blood, this is a Super Bowl rematch. We can't go a week without talking about the Super Bowl rematch. And Travis Kelce is going to go on and face a top Eagles defense, and he is going to have himself a day. Patrick Mahomes and the Eagles coming off a bye week in Arrowhead. It has never lost a game, and Travis Kelce is a big part of that. He's going to have 2 touchdowns with about 110 yards for Travis Kelce. Kansas City wins by 10.
Yeah, that's kind of bold. I mean, not gonna lie, with the way that Kansas City offense has been all season, that loss of Eric Bieniemy, both of these offenses aren't as kind of, as energized, is vamped up. It's almost like they definitely could use some W energy in both of those offenses right now. Kansas City winning by 10 absolutely is a bold prediction.
Well, I mean, you look at it. When they talk about the Eagles' defense, right? We're more talking about the front line. You cannot rush on those guys. So Isaiah Pacheco, he is not going to have a good game. They got to get points elsewhere. And even though they've signed some safeties and all that stuff, it's Andy Reid. He is a wizard at scheming offenses, and this defense has looked kind of suspect in the secondary. And I think the front line of Kansas City can subdue the defensive line of the Eagles enough for Patrick Mahomes to work out some Patrick Mahomes magic.
I mean, hey, I'm just saying Kansas City's not going to win by 10, if they even win at all. I see the Eagles as a better team. And, but Kansas City, it's just, they have not really been the same type of team. Travis Kelce's going to get his regardless, because Travis Kelce is just, the best tight end in the history of the NFL, almost at this point, in my opinion.
I mean, he's not better
people like Gronk. They'll say Gronk. They'll say Antonio Gates. They'll say Tony Gonzalez. And I definitely say Travis Kelce is, definitely in that conversation, Mount Rushmore of the tight end position.
I'd say he's up there, but I don't think he's better than Gonzalez.
I won't try him on me. Yeah, definitely. I see a lot more with that. I mean, like Tony Gonzalez teams, who really did they have anyway? It's just like, all right, Travis Kelce was doing it with Tyreek Hill, and then when they lost Tyreek Hill, I mean, you would think, okay, they double team, triple team Kelce, and he's still getting his. So, one thing I will say, I will definitely kudos on both of you. You guys had you had a separate list of 5 teams. There was no overlap at all. So definitely kudos. But now, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. It is time for the SSPPs, our wonderful award ceremony. This is the mid-season awards. So basically, we're going to have a mid-level of, awards to display. We are going to, over the next couple of weeks, those of us at the Social Sports Side Podcast, we're going to kind of brainstorm some even more categories, and we'll do, do some more there. We'll actually kind of come up with a lot of different ones. So, be prepared, be energized. But with this, we had 6 categories that we talked about on Tuesday in our inaugural Twitch cast Sports Pad podcast. And those categories were the Rookie of the Year, our Disappointment of the Year, our Underdog Award, which, the Underdog Award is someone that we didn't really draft in fantasy, but man, are they on our teams now, or we wish we had them. The James Robinson Award, basically, again, kind of like the Underdog Award, but more than likely, we just will throw them away like the Jacksonville Jaguars did. Then we will have our Coach of the Year, and then our Holla at Ya Boy, which is like our MVP, but you brought our dubs. The SSPP Awards are brought to you by the wonderful people at fanatics.com. Please click the link in our bio. It is definitely gearing up for the holiday season, so go ahead and get the football fan in your life a new jersey or something, that they can show their fandom to. And fanatics.com doesn't just have football. They have basically every fandom that you can have for in sports and in sports entertainment with WWE. So with
those
that,
belts look really amazing.
Yep, they do. Oh man, I cannot wait to get one of those belts one day.
Closest thing the Browns will ever get to a championship belt.
Woo! But
Hi-yo.
yes, well, I was gonna say speaking of the Browns, but that's the next one. But we start off with our Rookie of the Year. This one was definitely one of the hardest for us to come up with some nominees for because there were, four that just easily bounced off the top of our head, to come up with a fifth one. But the nominees for Rookie of the Year: CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans, Dalton Kincaid of the Buffalo Bills, Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams, and Jordan Addison of the Minnesota Vikings. Each one of these three players have played admirably. CJ Stroud has basically proven all of us here at the Social Sports Pad podcast wrong, because we definitely poo-pooed him in the beginning. I, for one, definitely was like, yeah, the kid does not have look in his eyes, but he definitely grew up and be a man during this midseason. Dalton Kincaid, he definitely has performed to a level that Buffalo expected when Buffalo drafted him. And filled in admirably for Dawson Knox as Dawson Knox got injured. Puka Nacua filled in great for Cooper Kupp when Kupp was away. And even when Cooper Kupp came back, he's like, yes, I am a wide receiver 1A in Los Angeles. And Jordan Addison had huge shoes to fill as he was stepping in for the arguably greatest receiver in the NFL this season in Justin Jefferson, and he has performed yeoman's work in Minnesota, almost making him go, Justin Jefferson who? All right, so with that, our Rookie of the Year winner is CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans. All right. What are your guys' thoughts on CJ Stroud winning the Rookie of the Year? We'll go ahead and we'll start with Alex, then Jayme, then Ben.
When we all looked at CJ Stroud in college, we thought he would never pan out in the NFL because usually Ohio State quarterbacks don't do that. Ohio State quarterbacks struggle to get going in the NFL. It's odd. It's weird. We all know that. And with the Texans offense being what it was with Deshaun Watson without him and him having no receiving core and a lack of another line, CJ Stroud has blown me out of the water, out the gates in week one. And I have no doubt that he will win Offensive Rookie of the Year this year and even MVP later down the line if he still produces well. And the Texans be like, hey, this is our guy, build around him and keep him and make him 10 times better than now. And if DeMeco Ryans gets the head coaching job permanently, this team is going to have a bright future ahead of them.
Yeah, he won he got the job permanently. The only interim head coach we got right now is Antonio Pierce and the Raiders. So
The Raiders?
The Raiders. Yeah. So all right, Jayme, what are your thoughts on CJ Stroud as Rookie of the Year?
So, I'm a little biased. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I feel like I've seen more of CJ Stroud than most people. I thought out of all of the Ohio State quarterbacks, he had the best chance to be better in the NFL level. With that being said, I did not like the situation he was going into with the Houston Texans. I thought this year was just going to be a learning year for him, right? See what would happen in year two. But man, oh man, I was proven wrong. Even with the limited talent around him, he is making them seem like they're a lot better than what they really are. So, all applause to CJ Stroud.
Absolutely. Could you imagine, if the Texans, if Andre Johnson in his prime was playing with CJ Stroud? Could you imagine the Texans team?
Can you imagine that this would be the conversation we would be having? At the beginning of the year?
Absolutely
CJ Stroud
not.
and Andre Johnson comparisons?
Like honestly, like I thought we were gonna be talking about the Texans still is like a top 5 draft pick team. But
Yeah.
definitely, definitely not playoffs. And Ben,
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
so Ben, what do you have to say for C.J. Stroud as our Rookie of the Year at the midseason point?
I agree with everything but the Ohio State thing. I didn't think he was going to pan out at all because he's a Ohio State product quarterback and they never pan out. But so far, I'm being proven wrong. But he's doing great.
I mean, I did say that he had the best chance.
Yeah, I mean, out of every quarterback that got drafted, I mean, I feel like he's the only one really that had the best chance.
All right, so basically, just like a lot of teams in the NFL, showed a lot of promise in the beginning, and then a whole bunch of disappointments have happened. We definitely outlined five players and or teams in the NFL this at the midseason mark that were absolutely dreadful, that we had high hopes for, either from their team, their fan bases, or just, from the pundits. And they've absolutely done nothing but disappoint us like, like this joke, apparently. So, going through our nominees for disappointment of the year at the midseason mark, we have the New England Patriots with their absolute dreadful Bill Belichick-led team gameplay. We have Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills, absolutely not showing us that MVP Josh Allen play. Daniel Jones of the New York Giants showing us that $40 million is not enough to cover up that stink. The Chicago Bears absolutely had a chance with Aaron Rodgers leaving the Green Bay Packers, and the Minnesota Vikings just not seeming lucky enough that they could have actually made a run for the NFC North crown. But like all the names here, they let us down. And then finally, the Las Vegas, Oakland, whatever they are, wherever they are the Raiders, and they are disappointing us. They are a team so bad that not even Calvin Ridley would bet on them. With that, our collective winner of the disappointment of the year, which is probably the only award that these guys will actually win all year, the award goes to Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. Danny Derps, as Cobra lovingly says about him, $40 million. I mean, yes, the Giants have done really nothing to build around him. Saquon Barkley, he stayed begrudgingly for an extra $1 million. But, to be, they brought in Darren Waller, but that's it. This offense is just, stank. Yeah, they are rotten fish in a broke freezer at Walmart. So, Alex, Jayme, Ben, what do you have to say about Daniel Jones, our disappointment of the year at the midseason mark?
Do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Entering the season, we all thought bringing in Brian Daboll from the Buffalo Bills would do something with Daniel Jones on offense, knowing what he did with the Buffalo Bills. But right now, it looks like Brian Daboll wasn't the best offensive head coach, knowing how big of an offensive mind he was with Buffalo. And Saquon Barkley is probably going to leave after his contract's over anyways. And Daniel Jones is a waste of space right now. And I guarantee you right now that in the draft, Drake May or Mario Penix Jr. is going to go number 4 overall, number 3 overall to the Giants, and they're going to eat dead cap for getting rid of Daniel Jones because there's no reason to keep him there with the offense he's in and bad coaching that he's in as of right now.
Well, I mean, Dable did really well with Daniel Jones last year. So we kind of expected more of the same. But it's just absolutely just, like either Dable is not coaching as well or, just, whatever's going on there is just not working. So Jayme or Ben, I mean, with disappointment, kind of like, it just screams in itself. Is there anything to add, you guys?
Well, Daniel Jones' performance is more disappointing than an unprotected bowel movement.
Wait, there are protected bowel movements?
I mean, if you don't cover your ass before you take a shit, yeah, you might shit yourself.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So basically, Daniel Jones is just shitting yourself.
It's bad. I mean, he's just out. He's outperforming. He's outperforming Russell right now. What was it? What was his name? Like the long forgotten Russell. What was his first
Marcus?
name? Yeah, that guy. He's outperforming him right now as being shitty as fuck.
Oh man, Daniel Jones, you sting so bad that not even the Grinch can root for you, and he likes everything that everyone hates. And all of that, MVP goes out to Daniel Jones' agent Andrew Kessler for swindling the entire Giants franchise and thinking that you were any good.
Yep, absolute thief in the night, man. Kind of.
I almost think he had Elias as his agent. He works some deals. Good Lord.
Jeez. But yeah, kind of just like a Josh Allen quarterback season, we are kind of doing some roller coastering right now. We go from the disappointments to our underdog. As I mentioned before we listed with these guys on this list were guys that you probably did not draft, you probably did not hear of in a way. And they have done nothing more than make your fantasy teams better from the waiver wire or made your opponents better. And you're like, damn, I wish I drafted them. So for our underdog at the midseason mark, here are your nominees. Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams. Josh Dobbs, then of the Arizona Cardinals at the beginning of the year, now with the Minnesota Vikings. Nico Collins of the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans. And the Browns defense of, obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, I'm kidding. The Cleveland Browns.
Steelers?
He's down, Yinzer. All right, so so our winner of the underdog of the year at the midseason point award is CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans. Again, nobody really expected the Texans to really do anything, and CJ Stroud has done nothing but ball out. He balls out like 80-year-old man in shorty shorts at the pool. Just, yep, that's in your head now.
I can't get it out of my head.
All right, so Alex, Jayme, Ben, basically, do you guys have anything to add about your thoughts on our underdog that we haven't mentioned in the Rookie of the Year part? So, I mean, we're definitely stroking CJ Stroud's junk right now.
Yeah, he's the new Lawrence. He's the new Trevor Lawrence now.
Well, I mean,
so you're going to stand for him now?
No.
Your team's going cold. Wonder why you got out of bed at all?
I mean, all in all, for quarterback ratings, he is averaging 23.1 points per game for fantasy. That is, in the fantasy world, that's what we call a solid floor. Meaning,
That's
at his worst day, he's still going to get you 23 points. On his best day, he could get you about 41 to 42.
That is stud.
That is elite
I was
in
upset
fantasy.
when Gus Edwards currently right on my bench with 20 points.
Well, that sounds like you need to fix your bench.
Oh, the little Tebbins cry.
Now, hate to cut you guys off on the underdog, but Ben kind of led to a wonderful tangent with this going into the next category. So this next category that we have to talk about is called the James Robinson Award. If everybody remembers, James Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he was at one point the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. He was somebody that went undrafted in fantasy, and he was picked up and would produce 15 to 18 points weekly for his fantasy owners that picked him up off the waiver wire, picked him up off like a couch on the side of the road. You brought him out, you picked him up, you took him home, you scrubbed off the stains, you Febreze the hell out of it, and basically made him your starter week in and week out.
It's that couch your dog humped.
Yeah, it was the couch that your dog just kept on peeing on. And then the next season, the Jacksonville Jaguars wound up picking up a new couch and putting him back on the curb. Just like what one of these players will probably be done to these, with their teams. And the nominees for the James Robinson Award are Josh Dobbs of the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Howell of the Washington Reds Commanders, Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints, Tank Dell of the Houston Texans, and CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans. And our winner of the James Robinson Award, Josh Dobbs of the Minnesota Vikings. Definitely Josh Dobbs right now has been passed around like a joint at the Snoop Dogg concert. The Arizona Cardinals had him be their week 1 starter. And even before they traded him to Minnesota, who desperately needed a quarterback, with the injury to Kirk Cousins, he got benched for Clayton Tune. That just, my God, went from lowest of the lows. Now he's riding some highs. But yes, when Cousins comes back, or probably at the end of the season, Josh Dobbs will probably be bumped to the curb.
The biggest thing that probably is going to cause him not to be a starter is him going to space.
Yep, probably. But hey, NASA. I mean, if I guess hey,
That's
Houston
one in a lifetime
take him as a backup, I guess.
I'm not passing that opportunity up. I'd pass up being a starter in the NFL to be in space. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yep. I mean, seriously. Oh, starter at the NFL or astronaut? I'm sorry, my bucket list says astronaut.
Astronaut. Hell yeah, bro.
Who says nerds can't play football?
What?
Yep,
exactly.
absolutely.
I mean, he could be a backup and then come back and play.
I mean, hey, whatever works. I mean, I would still, go into space and then, hey, watch Deion Sanders, with that, oh yeah, prime time. I went out into space and then went and played in the Super Bowl. What you do?
So,
I mean,
right.
has there ever been a rocket scientist play in the NFL? I don't think so. So
I mean,
no,
the
but
closest thing we had was we had a certain man named Ryan Fitzpatrick. He went to Harvard, but that was pretty much the only thing we had going on. And then I guess I guess you could say closest thing we have to a nerd in the NFL otherwise is Phil Simms.
Tebow.
yeah,
Now,
Tebow wasn't really
Tebow was a
nerd.
virgin, not a nerd. Nerds we can at least get.
True.
All right, so basically, enough Tebow bashing. We'll actually go ahead and because there's no tie-in on this one, but
Did I get to vote on it?
what?
On this tie? I don't know if that was when I stepped away, so maybe I can be the deciding factor.
Oh no, we for this next category, there wasn't basically we kind of broke the tie a little bit with Coach of the Year. So the gentlemen on this list, they may have been with established teams. They orchestrated some turnarounds. They dealt with some woes that brought their and still brought their teams to winning ways. These guys definitely, their teams are fighting for them. Their teams are not giving up, never surrendering, and these are definitely teams that show up and show out Sunday, Monday, every day. Your nominees for Coach of the Year: Nick Sirianni of the Philadelphia Eagles, Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins, D'Amico Ryans of the Houston Texans, Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions, and finally, Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings. These five gentlemen have exemplified leadership off the field, providing an example for their players, a wonderful teacher for players, and have had success on the football field, their teams, and themselves. Our winner of Coach of the Year at the midseason point is D'Amico Ryans of the Houston Texans. Absolutely. Nobody expected anything from this Texans squad, and he came in. I believe he was the defensive coordinator of the 49ers last year.
Correct.
Yeah, all right, cool. I was like, all right, I forgot off the top of my head. But yeah, he came from, Kyle Shanahan team, and basically the Texans, who was absolute shit, and had the number 2 pick and the number as well, I think, and basically has gotten wonderful production from CJ Stroud, who multiple award winner for the SSPPs, and I think is Will Robinson, the other draft pick, the guy that picked up on defense. But yeah, they definitely have done stellar with their team, and competing, definitely giving the Jacksonville Jaguars the sweats in terms of their AFC South, supremacy. Anything else you guys have to add on Coach of the Year?
I do have an interesting point to make about the Big Lion. I could never imagine that if you told me a defensive coordinator was going to lead a team that has head coaching problems for the past 10 to 15 years in the Texans, I would have called you crazy at the beginning of the year if you told me that, because it's insane to think that DCs can lead teams to winning records and potentially future plans of showing out. Because like we've seen with New England coaches, none of them under Belichick have done anything effectively in the NFL. And a Kyle Shanahan defensive coordinator that led a dominant defense to the Super Bowl is leading a rookie quarterback to possibly win Rookie of the Year is out of this world and doesn't happen very often. So I commend D'Amico Ryans for doing what he's doing right now in Houston.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I mean, defensive coordinators, do a good job. I mean, the best defensive coordinator, being head coach is Bill Belichick. He was a defensive coordinator in Cleveland, and Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator for the Giants when they beat the Bills. So. Definitely defensive coordinators are absolutely successful, especially in this offensive run league. But basically before we go to the holla at your boy, does anybody have anything else to add for D'Amico Ryan?
I was just looking at the staff that he has compiled, and it's one of the underlying things on there is D'Amico Ryan's actually linked up with Wade Phillips, who gave him some connections on some coaching staffs on how to develop an offense. And with that, that's how he ended up getting Gerard Johnson, who is the current quarterback coach for the Texans. And Gerard Johnson is a key part to allowing D'Amico Ryans come in and just handle business the way that a head coach should. So
Wade
kudos
Phillips,
to
you
D'Amico
son of a
Ryans
bitch.
Kudos to him to being the smart guy and reaching out to some veterans who knew what they were doing.
I mean, God, man, Wade Phillips, man, like, not gonna lie, if only the son of a bitch would have fucking produced in Buffalo. I swear to God, like, after he took over for Marv Levy, like, honestly, yeah, with the way he has helped the teams that he has been on. I mean, he was in Buffalo for the Bills. He even became the head coach in Buffalo. Then it's like, I think he went.
He was a head coach in Dallas at one point too.
Yeah, the Rams too, I'm pretty sure.
He went to Dallas. He went to Dallas. He won a Super Bowl with Denver when Peyton was there. Then he went to LA when Sean McVay started. And like now he's not really doing anything in the league. Did he go to? I think he went to the not the XFL or the USFL.
Yep.
He went to one of those.
He went to the XFL, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, the Houston Roughnecks.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, I mean,
Houston
definitely. Yeah, he's been coaching forever. He actually has a better, like, almost if you look at it, he's got a better like coaching tree family than fucking Bill Belichick does. So definitely kudos there. And you know what? I'm gonna give Wade Phillips one of these. Holla at your boy. There you go. I mean, as much as I would have loved to have seen him do that for Buffalo, but hey, he's won some Super Bowls elsewhere. But yes, going on, holla at you, boy. This isn't necessarily our MVP of the league. This is our holla at you, boy. This is the guy that we had on our fantasy team that got us W's. This is the guy that basically brought the swag, gave it to us, and basically let us go like, yeah, this is our guy, and we just gonna give it to you. So, these are also just, generated nominees, from each of us, as well as, our Twitch chat. So our nominees for Holla at Ya Boy of the season at the midseason mark is Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions, Raheem Mostert of the Miami Dolphins, Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals, Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins, and Tua Tagovailoa. Did I actually get his name right finally for once?
Sound like it.
Right away. Just shameful. How some of these guys were picked up late, Some weren't even looked at, laughed at, But these guys,
And
I'll
some
let
just
your
leave you
boy.
crying.
Yep, definitely. They left you crying like Giselle left Brady crying.
Oh,
Our winner, our holla at your boy. He's a freak. He's a fast man.
freak.
He's a bad man. He's a cheetah. He is Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. Week in, week out. He was in fuego. You cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. All right. What are your thoughts on our holla at your boy, Alex, then Jayme, then Ben?
With Tyreek Hill, I had a odd feeling he would leave KC at some point because KC was kind of getting away from using him and kind of like making him vanish into existence in Kansas City. And Miami was not a team that came to mind for me. Because at the time, I thought Miami had a great offense. They had a good receiving core, and I didn't think Tyreek was going to fit in there. When they got Jaylen Waddle and they got the new tight end, I forgot his name. I really thought Tyreek was going to be a good fit there. And as of right now, he's really, really blowing me away. And Jaylen Waddle is not really he's being used a lot, but it's kind of a split thing with Tyreek and Jaylen Waddle. But Tua is kind of just like chucking, Tyreek's down there somewhere, huh? And then Tyreek catches everything, and he's just off the walls, incredible. And I think Tyreek's going to win Offensive Player of the Year this year for sure. I mean, it's up there. And if Tua plays like he did in this season, they can make it a semi-deep playoff run.
Definitely agreeable. Jayme.
So one thing that I like about Tyreek Hill is everyone uses the term these guys got dogs in them. Man, Tyreek Hill, there's not a dog in that man. There's a full-blown wolf in that man.
There's a cheetah in that man.
He's got swag beyond belief. Even that when they were saying when the Dolphins were coming up against the Chiefs, he openly was like, "Hey, if given the opportunity, they're going to get that work." And that's coming from somebody that played for the team. Obviously, there was a little revenge narrative, but the thing that makes him that wolf is he talks the talk and walks the walk. That this man comes in, puts in the work, and is contagious. And you can see it with the development of Jaylen Waddle. You can see it with the running backs. A-Chain spent off-season workouts with Tyreek Hill, and I think that has a lot to do with how high A-Chain came through. But kudos to Tyreek being a leader and just being an absolute monster on and off the field.
And Ben, anything to add?
yeah. So to add on to about the Chiefs not using him, so he was like a flash in a pan type of player for the Chiefs, and he wasn't utilized correctly. Now going to Miami, I thought in the beginning that was kind of a bad move on his part because I wasn't a believer in Tua yet because he didn't show anything, and I didn't think the Dolphins were going to utilize him properly. But it's proven me wrong. Also, I do like how he's reached out to the community. He's recently went out to the community after a football game where he threw the ball in the stands after scoring a touchdown. He was trying to give it to his mom, but another gentleman called it and realized, oh, well, sorry, and gave it to his mom. Well, a few weeks later, he went to the restaurant where this gentleman was eating and surprised him and had him he signed autographs on a football and some jerseys, took pictures with his family and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Stand-up guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Only when he's winning.
Yeah, only when he's not playing our team.
Right.
Right.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that was our SSPPs. Thank you guys again for a wonderful, successful half season. We will absolutely continue to grow and continue to get things right for you guys. And with us here at the Social Sports Pad Podcast, we look forward to seeing you on Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time as we go through our weekly reactions and hype train, as well as utilize our bold predictions for the upcoming week. With that, this has been another wonderful Social Sports Pad podcast. I'm your host, Ricky. As always, thank you, Jayme and Alex, for coming on and being wonderful guests and helping us out in determining the midseason SSPP Awards. And with that, we wish you all, our wonderful listeners and viewers, a good night, good week, always good season.
Good season.
Good season.